All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is officially exhaust day for the Neon Gladiator. We have the brand new AWE Trail Edition exhaust system ready to go on the Gladiator, and I'm going to get it installed today so we can get rid of this boring stock sounding exhaust. Weak. Okay, so what we've got is the AWE Trail Edition exhaust system, which is made in the United States in Pennsylvania, features stainless steel. It's gonna be super high clearance, so I'm not gonna have any problems getting hung up on the trails, and I'll get to test that out right away next month. But also it features their patented drone killing 180 technology in their muffler, so you won't get that annoying resonance inside the cabin of the truck. And I'm super excited to get this installed, so I'm not gonna mess around. I'm gonna jump right into it. I do wanna point out that this system comes with a resonated mid pipe, and I did get the optional exhaust tip section. So what'll happen is I'm gonna have the ability to add on to the end of this extra pipe, which will allow me to bolt on this crazy huge 5-inch exhaust tip that comes in the black coating. So this is gonna look sick when I want it for show. And when I'm ready to do the go part, I just pop this pipe off and it's ready for the trails. Okay, so basically to remove the stock exhaust system, it's all one piece coming from basically where the cats come here into a Y. We're just basically going to undo this one bolt. It's going to disconnect the entire catback system in one piece all the way going to the back, and then I'm just going to have to remove these hangers here. So I'll just have to push this out of the bracket here to release it, and then once it's all loose, I'll probably have to grab Kim because this is a giant piece of exhaust system to get it out of here. So looks like I've scraped it up on some rocks already, but I'm going to get started here on this. So basically on this clamp here, there's a bolt from the top, and it comes down through this way, and it's just a 13 millimeter. So I grab my ratchet and I'm gonna have to get to it from the top. Once I get that out, there's actually a little tab here that you have to kind of bend away in order to separate these two pieces. So I'm gonna get going on that. So I wasn't sure how this little tab worked because it kind of is clipped in here, but basically what you have to do is in the center here, there's this little tab piece. You just need to take a flat blade screwdriver, kind of jam it in there and bend that out. I've already got it bent out a little bit, but basically by pulling that out, it's going to allow you to slide the clamp out of there, okay, until it's off. And you won't be reusing this on the new AWE exhaust, but keep the clamp there because you will need that clamp again. And now that I've got the one connection separated here, I'm pretty much just got to get all of the exhaust out of the hangers, or actually remove the hanger brackets from the frame, going back until I can drop the whole thing down. Okay, so I am gonna just remove the hanger itself. I think that's gonna be easier, get the whole exhaust out, and then I can transfer the clamps over to the new exhaust pieces. And these are just 13 millimeter bolts. So I'm gonna start with this one here and work my way towards the back of the vehicle until I've got the whole thing loose. So there's just two bolts, one on the bottom, one on the top. And I'm just gonna zip those off. Okay, so with these two bolts out, this one's loose, and we can just work our way back to the next one, which is kind of tucked up a little higher up in here. You can see it right up in here. Same thing, it's got two bolts, one on either side. So I think these two bolts on this hanger are gonna be easier to do without the impact, just because it might be harder to get up in here I'm gonna do these by hand with my ratchet. Just undo this one. So I'll get that one all the way out, and then I've got this one up in here. And I'll undo both of those. And I do want to mention to be careful when you undo this, the second mount, because, you know, basically the exhaust system gets pretty loose at that point. So just be careful, especially if you're like me laying on the ground underneath this thing. You don't want it to drop on top of you. So just be careful. And right now mine is staying in place, so I can move my way back to the last mount bracket here. Now as I pull this bolt out of the last bracket here, this is the last thing holding this exhaust system up into place. So definitely want to be careful. And actually I should probably go grab Kim at this point, because once I undo this, the whole system's going to be ready to drop down from the Jeep. Now it's going to catch itself over the rear axle here, but I should probably have her back there to hold it up so it doesn't just drop to the ground. All right, so I grabbed Kim, I put her on the creeper, got her some gloves. She's gonna lay up underneath there just to hold on to the resonator there, just so that everything doesn't drop. Once I pull this last bolt out from underneath here. Okay, so once I dropped the second bolt out of this bracket, the whole system dropped. It's kind of caught on the rear suspension here. Kim's holding it up front on that bracket. So here's
it's definitely caught though.
Yeah, so here's what I want to try to do, Kim.
Yeah.
How much can you pull it towards the passenger side and kind of twist it? Will it be enough to get it out of the, hold on, out of that bracket? I may actually have to jack up the truck so that we get enough clearance for this, because look at the pipe is all touching here.
Oh, so we can't do it right now?
I don't know if we'll get enough clearance to get it up and over. So if I jack this up, I think we'll have more, this will angle down more and we should be able to get it out. What we ended up doing was jacking up at the hitch and jacking up the body to give us more clearance in here between the bottom of the body and the rear axle, so that we can get this through and over. And as you'll see, it is coming through here. Ready, Cam?
Yeah.
Slowly, you're gonna lift up on your end. Yep, there we go. Hold on, slow. All right, yeah, you gotta rotate it down. Rotate it this way.
That way?
Yep, and then turn it. Yep, there we go.
Alright.
And just like that, it's out.
Or not.
Okay, so I know you all want to hear what the Gladiator sounds like with no exhaust at all. I guess I shouldn't say no exhaust at all, because it does still have the cats on there, but basically no cat back exhaust at all. Let's give you a little start up and some revs without that before we get the AWE exhaust installed. All right, so that rattling you hear, that's from that one exhaust clamp that I left on in front, so it's rattling on the pipes, but that was no exhaust, so let's get this exhaust going. Now, I should definitely mention that AWE, one of their first steps for installing their exhaust, they mention removing the spare tire and the heat shield that goes around the spare tire. Now, I don't run a spare under here because we have the bed-mounted spare. So I had already removed the spare and the heat shield, so I didn't have to do that, but if you have one, you're gonna need to do that in order to install this exhaust system. So the first step to installing the AWE exhaust system is you're gonna start with the resonated mid pipe. You wanna make sure you grab that initial clamp, which was the first clamp we removed for removing the stock exhaust, because that's gonna clamp on here. And we're gonna start that off, just snug it up loosely so we'll have adjustment later. And you basically wanna work from the front of the vehicle towards the back, piecing together the pipes. Okay, with that lightly snugged then on this clamp, you want to still be able to move it and adjust. So you just want it lightly snugged enough that it holds it in place. And then you can grab the next connector pipe. Okay, so I'm gonna take the bracket here and just kind of hand start it so that it's in place where it needs to be when I take this pipe and try to slide it in while I slide it onto the pipe here. Don't forget to slide one of the clamps over the pipe before you do this, because you're gonna need to be able to clamp it on right here. So if you wait until after, you're not gonna be able to get it on because of the bracket. So when I tighten this clamp down, it's gonna pull this right into place where this hanger needs to sit. So we're all set there. And I'm just gonna lightly snug this clamp up here. Okay, so next you wanna grab the muffler section. Make sure you slide a clamp on again so it's ready to go on the back side of the muffler. And then you also want to make sure, it's a little awkward under here showing you, that you slide the factory mount bracket onto the hanger here. So I've got that all ready to go. And again, you're just going to loosely kind of put everything on. So I'm going to slide the pipe over here. There we go. Finally got it to slide on fully. This clamp will go right, oh, you probably can't see it there. This clamp will go right here. I'll slightly snug that down, but I want to get the hanger bracket mounted up in here first. So I need to twist this quite a bit. Okay, so this is definitely one of these cases where you want it, where it helped to have everything loose, because I wasn't getting it. Sorry about that. I wasn't getting this bracket anywhere near, but by twisting and kind of adjusting, the whole pipe kind of twisted into place so that I can get this mounted up in here. At this point, I went ahead and I tightened up the hanger bracket here, and I tightened up the hanger bracket here. So the two of the three hanger brackets are tightened down. I am gonna, loosely snug this clamp here so it's in place. And then I can move on to the last section that goes up and over the axle. So next we just need to get the pipe that goes up and over the axle. And make sure you put the hanger mount back onto this last piece from the factory exhaust. And just kind of feeding it up and over the axle. Make sure you put the clamp on. Slide that pipe down. The clamp's gonna go up and over here. And then we just gotta get this hanger mounted back up in here. I hope you guys can see where I'm showing right now. Okay, so one thing I didn't notice when I took this hanger down is there's actually a little clip here on the end and then the two bolt holes. And what I just noticed, I don't know if you could see it up here in the frame, but there is a hole there that this has to hook into. And then the two bolt holes go in. So let's see if I can do this from here. Yeah, there it goes. So it just kind of hooked up in there. Then I can just take the two bolts and put them back in. And then I can go ahead and snug up the exhaust hanger right away. So I'll probably jump to the front of the vehicle and work my way back again, tightening everything up here. Okay, so at this point, once you have all the pieces all the way going back kind of in place, you want to just start from the front of the vehicle at your very first clamp here, and you want to slowly, or not slowly, but you want to just make sure that everything is adjusted and tightened properly to get the proper, positioning for everything moving forward, and snug down all your clamps. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Double check your bolts here for the hanger brackets, and work your way all the way back until you've got yourself an exhaust system that's a work of art. If you have just the Trail Edition with the high clearance exhaust, you're finished, because this is just going to dump out here in the back. Now, if you're running the Trail Edition, really the only difference in this exhaust system is going to be this last pipe that goes up and over the axle. That's just going to get changed out with this pipe here, which just has a slight bend that's going to kind of, instead of dumping out right here, it's going to take it out the side, and then you'll be able to bolt on the big exhaust tip. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this out just to see, because I'm not going off-roading for another month here. So I might as well run the cool looking tip. And it's literally just gonna be the one bolt there on the clamp, slide it off, swap this new one on and get it hung in the hanger there. And then I just can bolt the tip on. So in the future, when I wanna go off-roading, just swap these two pieces, this tip with the other, with this one, or take this one off, put that one back on. Should be super easy to switch between the two when I want the show versus the go. So just like that, in a matter of a couple of minutes, I was able to swap out this last pipe, bolt on the exhaust tip here, and now you can see I've got this massive 5-inch, you know, fit my whole fist in there, 5-inch exhaust tip that angles out the back here and gives it a really cool look. And again, I can change it out in a matter of minutes and be ready for off-roading. And one of the cool little touches that I just noticed is that with this trail edition section, you can see the serial number label that's welded onto the pipe that just looks really cool. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the AWE Jeep Gladiator exhaust system install. Super easy. I'm loving the way it sounds. Can't wait to get this out on the trails and see how that high clearance works out for me. Let's give you one last start here. Sounds so good coming out of that muffler and this 5-inch tip. So make sure you guys give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you like how it sounds. Okay, so when I was wrapping up the video last night, I did my final wrap up because I was all excited how this exhaust sounded, the new AWE exhaust, and I realized you guys might want to know some driving impressions, a little bit more about how I feel the sound is inside. Hopefully the camera will actually pick up some of the sounds as I'm driving here, but what's cool about this exhaust is it does sound great from outside, and you get just enough of the sound inside the cab where you can hear it, you know it's there, but it's not making you crazy. It's not obnoxious. There's no drone at all. The sound on the Gladiator here is actually even less inside the cab than on the Wrangler, because the Wrangler has the muffler sitting right below the cargo area. So you do hear it a little bit more in the Wrangler, but I would say it's absolutely 100% perfect in the Gladiator. That was through 5th gear. There's something, I don't want to say exotic, but the way that the mufflers make the exhaust sound from AWE just has a crisper, more refined sound, I think, than some of the other exhaust systems I've heard. I had a previous one on the Mojito Jeep, and it had that kind of deeper growl, but it didn't have that refined, kind of fancier sounding exhaust, if you will. I'll try to get you a little bit more exhaust sounds as right now I'm climbing a little bit of a hill, so I downshifted a little. See if I downshift here, a few coming up to a light. way it sounds when it shifts. It's got that burble sound. I don't know what else you call it, but you get that on some of the newer sports cars when it just makes that gurgling sound as it shifts up, and it just sounds fantastic. So I am going to go ahead and wrap this up as I'm pulling into work here, so stay tuned for our next video. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Thanks.